many years when our facial features were much younger. We remember those days, but we have remained friends for all these many years and now colleagues. And I'm really proud to be here today with him to talk about this new strengthening of the U.S.-Saudi partnership and relationship. As Adil just described it, today truly is a historic moment in U.S.-Saudi relations. The United States of America, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, are really dedicating ourselves to a new strategic partnership, new for the 21st century, and to charting a renewed path toward a peaceful Middle East, where economic development, trade, diplomacy are hallmarks of the regional and global engagement, and something that we will be working closely together on. This growing partnership is really grounded in trust. Trust between our two nations that we are pursuing the same objectives, cooperation and a shared interest. The elements of this declaration that was signed today, the Joint Strategic Vision, there are many, many elements. And there's a lot of work now to implement those elements and really put them into motion. And so that is going to require significant ongoing engagement and dialogue between our two nations. And so I think you will find that we will be meeting with a great deal of regularity in order to review how these things are progressing. And that is only going to serve to further strengthen, I think, our cooperation. And also, I think, sends a very strong message to our common enemies. It strengthens the bonds between us, and it does chart this new pathway forward and will guide our path forward. You know, at the core of our expanding relationship really are our shared security interest. America's security at home is strengthened when Saudi Arabia's security is strong as well. And the United States of America, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, are embarking on a number of new initiatives to counter violent extremist messaging, as you just heard Foreign Minister Jubeir describe. We're also going to be pursuing new approaches to disrupting financing of terrorism and advancing defense cooperation. Today, the United States and Saudi Arabia are conducting vital new expansions of security relationship that really spans over 7 decades. But I think one of the real hallmarks of today is the economic cooperation. And you know, if you have strong economic engagement between two countries, that really is foundational to a strong security relationship as well. As you heard Foreign Minister Jubeir mention, today we announced 23 foreign investment export licenses, leading to upwards of more than $350 billion of historic direct investment. 109 billion of that is in arms sales to bolster the security of our Saudi partners. And these are going to result in literally hundreds of thousands of American jobs created by these direct investments in purchases of American goods, American equipment, American technology, but also investment into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well. And I think it's important to note that this is an indication of the confidence that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has in the United States investment climate. And I think as they evaluate the future investment climate in the United States, what they are seeing already are the positive impacts of President Trump's actions to improve the business climate in the U.S. for investment and job creation, and they intend to be a part of that with these investments. Similar to this is a great vote of confidence in the United States in the business environment in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as they continue to advance in their own reforms and seek new opportunities for their own people to create jobs as well. So strong economic relationships are the foundation for strong security relationships as well. The intended sales of the defense packages in particular fall into 5 broad categories: border security and counterterrorism, maritime and coastal security, Air Force modernization, air and missile defense, cybersecurity, and communications upgrades. And I think you can surely identify in all of these the importance that all of those areas have to U.S. national security as well. Obviously, along with this will go a lot of training and support to strengthen our partnership with the Saudi Armed Forces as well, which just further strengthens our mill-to-mill relationship. The package of defense equipment and services supports the long-term security of Saudi Arabia and the entire Gulf region, in particular in the face of malign Iranian influence and Iranian-related threats. which exist on Saudi Arabia's borders on all sides. Additionally, it bolsters the kingdom's ability to provide for its own security and contributing to counterterrorism operations across the region. And the important part of this is this huge arms sales package reduces the burden on the United States to provide this same equipment to our own military forces, and will strengthen Saudi security forces for the future so that Saudi Arabia is more capable of carrying a greater share of the burden of their own security, which, as I indicated, is important to the U.S. national security as well. So it lowers the demands on our own military, but it also lowers the cost to the American people of providing security in this region. So extremely important to the future of the relationship, but also to the cost of providing security for American citizens in this region. It does demonstrate the commitment to our partnership with Saudi Arabia, as I indicated, expanding hundreds of thousands of new jobs. I think the other important announcement, which Adel just mentioned, was the new counterterrorism initiative, the new Global Center for Combating Extremist Ideology, which will be opened in Riyadh, will be a Saudi-led hub for defeating extremism in the information space. As you've heard us say often, we have to defeat ISIS on the battlefield, but we really have to defeat ISIS in the cyberspace. This is their recruiting tool. This is how they message to lone wolves around the world. And this center is going to concentrate heavily on how to enter that space from the standpoint of experts that live in this part of the world and understand how to message to those who might be influenced by radical messaging. Our partners in the Gulf Cooperation Council, including Saudi Arabia, will be signing a new agreement tomorrow to close gaps in many of these areas, including the financial infrastructure which terrorists can exploit, and we commend them for refusing to let terrorists conduct financial operations in their countries. We are calling on all countries to crack down on the way financing and funds reach terrorist organizations. All these new initiatives will bolster our joint efforts to deter regional threats from Iran, in Syria, Iran in Yemen, and on Saudi Arabia's borders, as I mentioned. These new steps forward will serve the national security interests of the American people and the kingdom both. We're very proud of this relationship that we are embarking upon with the kingdom and are very appreciative of the leadership of His Royal Highness King Salman in putting these initiatives forward. We've had a really productive day today, a truly historic day in this relationship. Thank you.